Pedro Acosta didn't crash at Brno because he pushed the traction limit. He crashed because he was trying to fix his own bike at 150 miles per hour on lap 6 during a sprint while fighting for position against two Aprilias. That's not a racing incident. That's a nightmare. And that crash was only the opening act. The same Saturday, standings leader Marco Bezzecchi physically struck a track marshal and earned an immediate race ban. Sunday came, Martin served a tough double long lap penalty and crossed the line 9th. Acosta's engine died on the final lap, and Marquez collected 25 clean markers while the field burned around him. After Brno, the margins in the standings are completely obliterated. The governing body took a sledgehammer to the rulebook, and the entire paddock was left reeling. One weekend, 3 separate disasters. The title race looks nothing like it did on Friday morning. So what actually happened? Because 3 completely different crises played out across 2 days, and each one feeds directly into the next. If MotoGP mechanical chaos and title hunt politics are your kind of obsession, subscribe now, because this season is only getting sharper from here. Acosta's Saturday unraveled from the first corner. His KTM RC16's rear ride height system failed on lap 1, locking the bike in its lowered hole-shot position, the setting built for maximum launch traction off the grid, not at all for mid-race cornering through a technical circuit like Brno. A hole-shot system locked in the down position means the rear geometry can't work freely through corners. The bike fights the rider on every single turn. It gets worse with every lap because the system relies on hydraulic pressure to hold the rear down. To release it, the rider must hard brake. But at Brno, the rear ride height device jammed Cockpit at full racing speed. The camera caught the exact moment. Right after Jorge Martin passed him, Acosta's eyes dropped to his hands on the clip-ons. Head down, fingers working the controls, not watching the track. And on lap 6, at turn 11, the front end washed out. Bike down, Acosta sliding, gone. 0 score. Because he didn't complete enough laps to be classified, he walks away with nothing. That's the severe arithmetic of modern Grand Prix racing. The hardware has no loyalty. Who pays for that error? A tiny hydraulic seal can destroy months of physical preparation in an instant, leaving a rookie with podium pace sliding into the gravel. Now pause on that image for a second. Put your mind in that gravel trap. Bezzecchi, sitting on 180 markers in the standings, crashed out on the penultimate lap. Painful, but racing. What followed was not. A track marshal recovering the crashed Aprilia accidentally twisted the throttle. Bezzecchi, already past the boiling point, ran over and slapped him. Twice. 2 blows on a safety official whose job is to keep riders from dying. Cameras captured all of it. Suspension on the spot. Race ban for Sunday. Track marshals are unpaid volunteers standing in harm's way. Striking one is the ultimate sin, and the paddock reaction was swift, severe, and completely justified. 2 slaps. That's what it took to sideline a title leader. If this is already breaking your brain, hit like. The algorithm really needs to push this to every fan who only caught the highlights. Sunday at Brno opened with the standings leader watching a monitor from the Aprilia garage, and Jorge Martin walked out to the grid carrying his own debt from 3 weeks earlier. The double long lap penalty Martin served wasn't born at Brno. It came from the Hungarian GP on June 7, 2026, where Martin triggered a pileup at turn 1 that collected 4 riders, including his own Aprilia teammate, Bezzecchi. 4 riders down at the opening corner. The stewards waited, measured, and delivered. Double long lap penalty, deferred to Brno. Martin served it. Both loops, no argument. But those penalties didn't just rob him of time. They killed his tire temperature, destroyed his race rhythm, and left him stranded in 9th place. 9th. On a weekend when the standings leader never scored a single tally. Entering the dusty, unused asphalt of the loop kills corner speed and drops tire temperature. Returning with asymmetrical heat in your rubber is like riding on ice, forcing Martin to spend 3 laps scrubbing his tires back to life. And Acosta? Running in a strong position on Sunday, salvaging something from the wreckage of Saturday, looking like a man determined to recover, the engine cut out on lap 12. Electronics gone. Bike dead. Another costly 0 on Sunday. The same electronic fault had appeared during Friday practice, which makes the timing even harder to stomach. KTM watched it happen in practice and couldn't stop it from happening again when the key tallies were on the table. Marquez needed 0 chaos to win. He rode clean, took 32 markers, and let the weekend do the rest. After Brno, Bezzecchi leads on 180 scores. Martin sits second on 172, a microscopic 8-marker gap, and Marquez closed to within 40 of the peak. 8 steps between first and second. How does a campaign collapse into a 3-way knife fight over one weekend? Because machinery is fragile, margins are impossible, and riders are human. While others suffered mechanical failures, the veteran simply hit his marks with metronomic lap times. Think about what each rider is now carrying into the Dutch TT. Bezzecchi carries a suspension on his record, knowing the paddock watched him strike a marshal. Martin carries the psychological weight of publicly serving punishment for wiping out 4 riders, while gaining nothing to show for surviving it. And Marquez is 40 tallies back, with the momentum of a man who watched his rivals self-destruct in real time. Classic Marquez. On June 21st, Bezzecchi walked out to turn 3 and apologized to the official he'd struck. Cameras caught them embracing. It was a genuine moment. But a handshake doesn't close an 8-point title gap. The standings table doesn't care about apologies. Then came the response that confirmed how seriously the sport's governors took Brno. On June 22, 2026, the Grand Prix Commission banned front hole shot and front ride height start systems with immediate effect, starting from the Dutch TT at Assen, June 26th to 28th. The risk these systems create at race starts was enough. Done. What does that actually mean for Assen? Every team's launch procedure and start line program built around that system must be rebuilt on extremely short notice. The manufacturers who invested deepest in hole shot technology face the steepest recalibration. And Acosta heads to the Netherlands on a completely different technical footing than the one KTM spent years developing. The Brno weekend didn't end when Marquez climbed off the podium. Its consequences are still spreading. A title race that sits 8 markers apart at the top, a banned technology rippling through every garage in the paddock, and 3 title contenders each arriving at Assen with something serious to prove and nothing safe to lean on. Is this the most chaotic stretch of any recent season? The numbers say yes. One of the top 4 riders scored 0 tallies across the Brno races. A standings leader earned a ban not for how he rode, but for what he did in a gravel trap. And a 20-year-old on a KTM crashed because he was trying to be his own mechanic at 150 miles per hour. No clean paths left. Assen in 96 hours. Watch every corner. If this weekend landed the way it deserved to, like and subscribe. The rest of this title fight is going to be even more intense, and you need to be here when it breaks.